Hello. So, it's my pleasure to welcome you all to the new Student Founder Showcase. It's fantastic to see so many people here in real life. This is actually great. We're also live streaming with this event, which is really, really good. So why are we all here? So we're here to celebrate the amazing founders who have been participating in the Foundership Grant Scheme that's been taking place over the summer. It's a 12-week support program kind of put on by the Student Enterprise team that offers some fantastic opportunities. It offers space down in Eagle Labs that you're going to hear a little bit about from some of the founders here today. It also gives students that time over the summer to really work on their businesses, as well as lots and lots of kind of one-to-one mentoring support. So it's an absolutely fantastic program, and it's been great to work with all these founders over the summer and see them go from just starting out in their businesses to where you'll hear that they've got to today. But it's not just about that today, as some of you may know. So, after I've kind of welcomed you all here, I'm going to invite Sarah onto stage, who's going to talk a little bit about the origins. Where did the foundership all begin from? And then we have Chris from ODAR, who's going to talk about the amazing alumni support that's really, made this all possible, which is absolutely fantastic. After we've done that, we're going to go straight in to the presentations. We're going to go one by one all the way through, where you'll have an opportunity to ask your questions, which I'll talk about a little bit later. And then the news of the 100 Big Ideas competition. Now, I'm so pleased that we did this. We brought it back this year, and we got 78% more applications than we've ever had before. So the competition was absolutely fierce. So we're going to announce the top 100, but also we're going to announce the faculty selection. The favorite 10 selected by representation across each faculty, and one of those lucky students will take home the grand prize of £500. So that's kind of what to expect from today, okay? But I just want to finish on one last thing. I have an aspiration for this event, and it's really based around three things. And those are, one, to inspire you students, okay? This is all about to inspire you sat there in those seats today. Maybe you entered 100 Big Ideas, but to inspire you to take that next step and show you with all these amazing founders that you'll hear from today that it's actually possible. You can do this whilst you're here and studying. You can start your own business and be successful doing it. The second thing I want to do is really engage. There is an incredible enterprise ecosystem across the university. There's so much going on. So we kind of want to work with all the amazing staff across the university to really show that we're here as a student enterprise team to signpost all of you inspiring students to all of these fantastic opportunities and really help you go on your path. And the last thing I want this to do is to really engage alumni. And I've seen there's a few here today that, they're an amazing network of alumni, which you'll hear about from Chris, that supported this program. So to really recognize all of that support, but also to recognize the amazing alumni that come back and help students to really grow. It's such a powerful thing for them to come back and share that experience with students who are aspiring to go kind of follow in their footpaths. So I hope that you take away those three things, if nothing else, today, okay? So without any further ado, I would like to welcome onto stage Sarah.
Hello, everybody. It's fantastic to be here with you today in person, and hello to all of you joining us online. So my name's Sarah Rogers. I'm Student Opportunities and Enterprise Manager, and I work within the Careers and Employability Service at the University of Southampton, and the Student Enterprise team falls within my area, which is an absolute joy to work with. So Tom's asked me to talk a bit about where the origins of the Foundership Scheme came from. Now, back in 2018-19, we didn't have the Foundership Scheme. We had a really successful scheme, which some of you will be aware of and may have already benefited from, which is called the Seed Startup Fund. And what we discovered with increased funding from Santander universities, who are incredibly generous in helping us with this prize fund, was that lots of students, we were requiring them to evidence how they would be able to utilise that prize funding to really help grow their business in terms of the things they needed to buy, be that prototyping, be that travel, be it training, and we could really legitimately support that funding for them. But what we were hearing from the students was that it isn't, of course, always just the money that they need for the stuff. It's the benefit of time to be able to really invest in spending that time in growing that business and making it happen. So it was from that the origins of the Foundership Scheme were born. I was really fortunate to have the support of the Office for Alumni and Development Relations, and they were able to tap into the fundraising opportunities that they provide to help us be able to give that funding direct to the students who needed it most, in terms of being able to support them for 12 weeks over the summer in this Foundership grant scheme opportunity. The first year we ran it, bearing in mind what we'd been hearing students saying, we felt really what they wanted was the time. We weren't going to put too much structure in. We would give them some opportunities for a bit of support, a bit of chance to get to meet one another as a cohort. But we really kept it pretty light touch in terms of support from us as a team. But what we discovered by the end of that first summer, pilot year in 2019, was that the students were really, really enjoying the opportunity to work with one another, to see themselves as a cohort, and help see each other develop on their journey as well as their own. So the following year, last year, 2020, we injected a lot more of the one-to-one support, opportunities for students to socialise on a weekly basis, which of course when we came up with the model for last summer, we weren't quite anticipating how much of it, of course, was going to have to end up being online. And we were really fortunate that the students really enjoyed and valued the support we had on offer, which we were able to switch to that virtual mode. And of course, once again this year, unfortunately, we haven't been able to do as much of the face-to-face and physical as we would like, but the students have been fantastic at engaging with all of the support that we've put in place, which Tom has already shared with you. The Ask Me Anything sessions, workshops, support from the business school, support from alumni founders who are sharing some of their experiences, some mentorship and so on. So the main point really with the Foundership Scheme is that it just continues to grow, to get better, to get bigger year on year. And that really wouldn't be possible without the support of the senior management of the university who are fully committed to this scheme. We have the Southampton Enterprise Board with Associate Deans Enterprise. Mark Spearing, our Pro-Vice Chancellor for Research and Enterprise, is fully behind all that we're doing to support our students in this space. But particularly, of course, our alumni, because without their donations, we wouldn't be able to provide this funding support to the students that we've been able to do. And with that in mind, I'm going to hand over to Chris Hartland from our alumni team, who'll be able to tell you more about the alumni support for this programme. Thank you again all for being here, and I hope you have a really fantastic time. You're in for a treat with the students sharing their experiences with you later. Okay, please.
Hi everyone, my name's Chris. I'm from the Office of Development and Alumni Relations, which we normally just call ODAR. Otherwise, presentations tend to take half an hour. And I work in the regular giving team there. I first started working with Sarah on the Founderships project, or the internships project, as I think it was, back in its first year, pretty much as soon as I started at the university. And it was one of the things that I was most excited to work on here. ODAR's job is to tell the story of the university, to tell the story of what's happening at the university to our alumni, and to inspire them with that story to offer their support back to the programs that we run here. The only reason that we're able to inspire people, of course, is because of the work of the students and the work of the enterprise team and all the other members of staff that we work with here to inspire that group of people. And it's really about building community, about encouraging our alumni that even though they might have graduated, they are still part of the university community. They still, as Tom said, have so much to offer back, whether that's in terms of financial help, whether that's in terms of offering their time, coming back and giving a talk, getting involved with the enterprise program, offering training, mentorship, anything like that. As you can see, last year, over £40,000 was donated to the enterprise program from more than 150 donors. I know we have some donors watching this evening, and thank you very, very much for your support for this program. It really enables all of these students to take their ideas and really fly with them, as you'll see later on when the founders start to do their presentations. But without the students taking part in this program, and without them being brave enough to tell their stories, to work on their businesses, to take what in many cases can be a bit of a leap of faith in starting their own business right out of university, I wouldn't have a job to do, because without their stories, without their hard work, there isn't a story to tell. And it's the stories of the businesses that start that enable us to keep generating this money, that enable us to keep inspiring our donors to give, and that in turn enables the next year's cohort to carry on. So for all of you here tonight, whether you are just watching and thinking about this, or if you've entered 100 Big Ideas, or if you're looking to do a foundership scheme next summer, I really am grateful to you, and please do it. Please take your idea and run with it. And you will not only be enabling yourself to have a brilliant future, but you will also be enabling the futures of the students that come after you. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Chris. So this is your chance, guys. If you want to ask a question to any of our founders during this amazing showcase, if you visit southampton.ac.uk/founder showcase, you'll see a big button at the top there, and you'll be able to select that, and you'll be able to go through and ask as many questions as you like. You may ask why I'm wearing AirPods. That's because my lovely colleague at the back there, Jake, will be feeding me your questions. If you're watching from home, please just put your questions on the chat, and again, Jake will feed them to me. So, without any further delay, let's get straight into this. Let me welcome on our first founder, Dimitri.
Hello, my name is Dimitri. I'm the founder of Immediate. Beer is a mass market consumer product. 3.9 billion litres of beer were consumed in the UK alone in 2019, contributing to 45 million tonnes of the nation's total CO2 emission. At Immediate, we believe sustainable consumption and production is essential and drives everything we make, from the source of our ingredients to our final product. We believe sustainability is a value and a necessity. This is why we have created a truly sustainable and carbon negative beer brand. With every beer, we save 160 grams of CO2 emissions from the atmosphere. And beer is our vehicle for change, but it's also so much more than that. Everything starts with our manifesto. Our manifesto. 9 pledges. There's the foundation of our business model and the guiding principles that we at Immediate live by. These include from using surplus bread and local ingredients to brew our beers, and selling our beers only within 200-mile radius from a warehouse, among others. During the summer, we had the opportunity to rebrand from Future Brew to Immediate, which allows us to convey our message and ethos more effectively to customers. We also launched our new Pale Ale, a pale ale to start a revolution. This hazy golden ale has been brewed with local ingredients to create a refreshing explosion of flavors and aromas. Combination of grapefruit, floral and lime with a slight bitterness, and hundreds of customers to prove it. We also signed a contract for a new warehouse to store our beers, which allows us to expand rapidly in the upcoming months. And also got opportunity to talk with some local newspapers, among Daily Echo, among others, and present Immediate to the Enactus World Cup, the biggest experimental entrepreneur program, and came top 4 in the world. Because of the Founder Scheme program, I had the opportunity to meet with other founders, exchange ideas and insights. Also having a space like Eagle Labs to work and meet with partners and potential customers, and a place to really focus on my business. Most importantly, it allowed me the opportunity to work on Immediate full-time without having to work at the same time to support myself. At Immediate, community and environment is what drives us. So far until this day, we have saved over 22 tons of CO2 emissions for the atmosphere, saved over 4,000 slices of bread, and provided vulnerable families across the Southampton area with ingredients for almost 9,000 meals. Now is your opportunity to benefit from the Founder Scheme program. Go to immediatebeer.com, enter the discount code Founder Scheme, and get 35% discount on your carbon negative beer. If you have any questions, please come talk to me later. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dimitri. That was fantastic. So we had a couple of questions come in. The first question is, so how did you discover that you could make beer from bread? How did it all start?
Yeah, so actually it's not something new. It's happening for hundreds of years, making beer of bread. So we just started talking with the brewery and thought, like, let's just do it. And we launched our first beer back in January of 2020 in Stags. And it went amazing. We sold everything. And also got interviewed by the BBC. It was amazing. But since then, we thought we could do much more than that. And that's why we have introduced our manifesto and everything that we do.
Cool, thank you. And another question we've had is, so tell us about the flavor of the beer. What kind of type of beer is Immediate?
So we're going to have quite a few different core beers. Our first one, which is the one I just showed you, it's a pale ale. So as I said, it's refreshing. It's something you love having in the summer or after a long day or after work. It has a grapefruit and floral, so it's quite easy to drink.
Brilliant, thank you so much. So, thank you, Dimitri. Let's welcome on our next founder, Tiffany.
Hi, I'm Tiffany. I'm a postgraduate student here at the University of Southampton, and I want to talk to you today about my business, Nascenti. Nascenti is a fusion of aromatherapy and skincare, which has been designed with mother and baby in mind. A couple of years ago, if you would have told me that I'd be standing here talking to you about a business I'd created, I would never have believed you. 2 years ago, I was pregnant with my daughter, and I was experiencing severe antenatal anxiety and depression. Completely terrified of becoming a mother, unsure of how I would balance it along my postgraduate studies, I had no idea what I wanted to do. Luckily, a couple of weeks ago, I completed my master's, and I've just finished a foundership scheme, which is what I want to talk to you about today. Part of my recovery from perinatal mental health problems was to do a baby massage course during the first lockdown. The benefits of baby massage are that it encourages oxytocin production in the brain of the mother and baby. This alleviates symptoms of postnatal depression, breaking through the barriers of the lack of connection that many mothers feel after they give birth. So while baby massage was really beneficial for me, the only problem was that I couldn't find a baby massage oil that was safe and didn't irritate mine and my daughter's skin. So I decided to create my own, and Nascenti was born. The ethos behind Nascenti is to enhance connection between mother and baby through safe, sensitive, and sustainable hand-blended massage oils. Each ingredient has been specifically chosen to maximise the experience so that mums don't have to worry about whether their baby skin will get irritated or whether the ingredients are safe. At a time when maternal mental health is at a very low ebb, especially after the pandemic and the lockdowns, the need for a brand like Nascenti to not only offer a product in this area, but also raise awareness of maternal mental health has never been higher. When maternal mental health is good, it improves the lives of children, which then has a compound positive effect on society. So before the foundership, I was testing formulations at home in my kitchen while my daughter played on the floor. I ordered ingredients from lots of different places and was making my draft prototype list. Over the course of the summer, I refined my product list so that I could send them off to get officially certified through the CPSR and stability testing progress. I registered Nascenti as a trademark to protect it legally for when we launch, and done significant market research during the summer. The foundership scheme has given me confidence in my business idea. As I said, beforehand I was just alone in my kitchen making oils, and I didn't really know how they would be received. So talking to other founders, sometimes from completely different business types, we were always able to find some common ground. Some had already launched and were well into trading, so they could give me tips on e-commerce. But perhaps the most important or beneficial aspect for me was the lecture on design thinking from Dr. David Baxter. For me, this was really important because at the beginning, I was convinced that if I would buy my product, then other people would too, right? But this wasn't the case. I needed to talk to potential customers. I needed to find out, were they more interested in organic products or sustainability? Did they prefer coconut or almond, or were they more into odourless oils? This process of doing market research helped me validate my products so that the final prototypes I sent off I knew were validated. So lastly, I just want to say a huge thank you to the Student Enterprise Department for giving me this opportunity. And thank you to all of you today for coming here and listening to all us founders talk about our businesses. If you would like to follow my journey as I launch Nascenti, you can do so on Instagram and Facebook at Nascenti Naturals, and you can also stay tuned for the launch at nascenti.co.uk. Thank you very much.
Fantastic, big round of applause. And I can see David there, so I'm sure he'd be very happy to hear that you said that. So, first question, quite a simple one, but interesting to know. How did the name come about? Where's it from?
So the name, Nascenti, it means birth in Latin, and in Italian it means rising. So it really is emphasising how after birth the mother needs to be nurtured so that she can rise, and a lot of focus tends to be on the baby, and I really want to emphasise maternal care after birth.
Fantastic. And the second question I have coming through my ear is, so what kind of regulations are there? How can you get a product from kind of in your kitchen out to market?
So you need to obviously get your prototypes made up, and then you need to send them off for CPSR and stability testing. There's lots of different places you can get this done, so shop around and find what works for you, and it depends how many products you have as well. But it's relatively easy. Obviously you need some funds to do it, but it's not that difficult. It's possible.
Brilliant, thank you so much. So we go straight on to our third founder. Sam, please join me on the stage.
Hello. Just before we get started, I'd like to ask a quick question. If any of you had a coach or mentor in your lifetime, could you please raise your hand? So we've got a few there. And could you keep your hand raised if that coach or mentor was instrumental in your personal development or career development? Awesome, thank you very much. I'm Sam, co-founder of Advice, and we are Advice, an online coaching platform bridging the gap between individuals and coaches in life's core areas. Our mission is to put coaching at the forefront of personal development. The business was founded by myself and co-founder Conor O'Shea whilst we were on our business placement. So, the progress made in recent months. At the start of the foundership scheme, we had very manual processes in place, which was really restricting where we could focus our time and energy. Since then, I'm proud to say we've moved to a highly automated and scalable platform. Landmark moments include moving from 120 coaches to now 300 coaches, each with bespoke landing pages on site. These landing pages serve as our unique selling point to coaches. They can share their bio, experience, blogs, videos, and testimonials all in one place. We say, why would you have a website when you can gain such a landing page and join a community that wants to normalize coaching? A second landmark point would be having over 100 client bookings since the start of the foundership scheme, including the NHS reaching out to us for multiple coaches for high-value workshops. And lastly, we now have 10,000 coaching connections between our profiles on LinkedIn and membership on our platform itself. So the impact of the foundership team itself, it's really enabled me to have more of a co-founder perspective. Having the support enables you to take a step back and look at things from a bit more of a strategic position. It's given me the confidence and resources to reach out to leaders, and it's enabled me to develop my communication skills and collaboration with others. Speaking in front of audiences such as yourself really encourages you to articulate your business vision as clearly as possible. And lastly, and perhaps most importantly, would be access to Barclays Eagle Labs, a fantastic facility where you can connect with like-minded individuals that share the entrepreneurial spirit. So the future. We want to be the home for coaches, and as such, host thousands of UK and international coaches that can inspire positive change in others. We've also identified the opportunity to leverage our network to bring coaching workshops to young people across the UK. We feel that we can bring the best coaches, mentors, speakers, leaders, and psychologists to young people and teach them key learnings we think have been missing from their education. Whether that's how personal relationships affect your happiness, the value of honesty, authenticity, and vulnerability in leadership, entrepreneurship resilience, entrepreneurial resilience, peak performance, and why you should always put yourself in creative environments. These are core themes that we feel may have been missing from their education, and we can diversify their learning experiences through advice. So, thank you for listening and getting involved. You can follow our journey on LinkedIn or look us up at advice.co.uk. Thank you.
Brilliant, thank you, Sam. So, questions for you then. So, tell us all, why should someone join your platform? Why is your platform the place to go?
Thank you, Tom. I think coaches really value the community that we're building, and the way that we've set up the platform now, coaches can join on a free membership as well as a paid membership, so there's really low barriers to entry as long as they're qualified, and that's really going to enable us to scale and build the platform through network effects.
Fantastic. And in your own opinion, I've got a question here. So what do you think the most important type of coaching is, or the most impactful type of coaching?
My personal preference, from my experience, would be performance coaching, because not only do those coaches give you frameworks for success in business and sport, they also remind you and help you build frameworks to make sure you're putting valuable time into what's important, your family, friends and whatnot. So peak performance coaching is definitely my favourite.
Lovely, thank you, Sam.
Thank you.
So we continue on. Barnaby, please welcome yourself to the stage. Let's go.
Hello, I'm Barnaby, and my mission is accessible music and instrumental lessons given by talented students. So my entrepreneurial journey began when I was 16 in my first year of college, and I felt that I was at a disadvantage in my music lessons because I couldn't afford the same private tuition that some people could. And I thought this was really unfair. So when given the opportunity by my awesome business mentor, Bob, I started barnabybaker.co.uk. So the problem that I wanted to solve is that music lessons are expensive, and some of them cost like £35 an hour, which is ridiculous. And it means that there are disproportionate numbers of students from wealthy backgrounds that take music both academically and as a hobby. Also, I found that the teachers that give those lessons are often a little bit old and a little bit boring and less difficult to relate to. So my solution with this was to use talented musicians that I'd met at A-level in university to teach these fun, affordable and accessible lessons. So at the beginning of the foundership scheme, my finances were a mess. Not that bad, but pretty bad. And my lesson tracking was also pretty dreadful. The business had also stagnated a little bit with not many new bookings, and although I think minimal safety checks is a little bit harsh, my tutors weren't properly checked. We started a foundership scheme with 35 lessons taking place every week, given by 9 tutors. So this is me working at Eagle Labs over the summer, which was a brilliant asset, and it was probably my favourite part of the foundership scheme. So today we have better managed finances, and this was through speaking to professionals at Eagle Labs, and we also have better lesson tracking, and this is because I don't do the lesson tracking anymore. We also have meetings set up in the next couple of weeks with some schools dotted around Hampshire with the intention of sending our tutors in to work with kids in schools. And also the tutors are now like properly safety checked and qualified. Although we actually have lost a couple of students, that happens over summer and it's totally normal, and we should double the number of weekly lessons by the end of the year. And we've also put student representatives around some universities in Hampshire and Wales, and their job is to recruit new tutors that want to teach. And I also have started a second company which starts trading in the next 2 weeks, so look out for that too.
Brilliant, thank you. Round of applause, everybody. So Barnaby, a couple of questions to you. We've got one here that says, if you could learn any instrument, what would it be?
I would definitely learn the sitar, like George Harrison. I just think it's the coolest instrument. It's like an Indian instrument, a string instrument. It's really cool.
Okay, and a follow-up to that question is, if you could teach anyone an instrument, what's kind of your favourite instrument to teach?
Piano is by far the best instrument. It's versatile, and it's like led music history for the last 400 years. So I'd definitely teach them the piano.
Fantastic, thank you so much. Next up, we have Stardust.
Hello, everybody. So I'm Andreas, and together with Till, we are running Stardust. And we're on a mission to give people full ownership and control over their personal data everywhere online. And to start, we're focusing on web consent data specifically. This means giving you control over stuff like cookies and trackers, which as a result gets rid of all those annoying consent pop-ups that we see on websites daily.
So our backgrounds are in computer science and mathematics with experience in cybersecurity, data science and machine learning. We both actually met at a machine learning hackathon in our first year here in the university where we won the first prize. So we understood that there's potential to achieve great things together as a team. So we decided we want to tackle a global issue. And that's how we eventually got to do Stardust. We want to solve the lack of control we have over our personal data and get rid of all those data breaches and unconsented use of our data. When we came into the foundership scheme, we had just gone through the Future Worlds cohort program, and our first product called Cookie Cutter was gaining first traction. It started as a Chrome extension, which you can see there, where you can input your cookie preferences just once, and your choices get applied on all websites you visit. That means you will never see another cookie pop-up ever again. And the important bit is that this all happens on your computer. So either us or anyone else can interfere with that. Back then, we had a few hundred users who the cookie cutter had saved from around 10,000 pop-ups. Today, we're closing in on 3,000 users who have been spared from more than 500,000 pop-ups. If we assume that it takes 4 seconds on average to manually give your preferences to a pop-up, then we have saved our community more than 20 whole days from just not clicking on pop-ups. And on top of that, the cookie cutter is now available on all major browsers. And if you become our beta tester, you can already enjoy the cookie cutter on your iPhone as well.
How did the foundership scheme help us? The biggest advantages were that it gave us the time and the financial and the creative freedom to work on stuff that we're passionate about. And this also enabled us to conduct extensive beta tests to actually gather metrics from our users. And on that feedback, we could actually improve and build a great product and refine our value proposition with that as well. And also, all the mentors, the investors, and the industry professionals that were part of the foundership scheme events were really good at giving constructive feedback. And of course, I cannot leave it unmentioned, all the other founders that you meet in this scheme is quite refreshing as well. I mean, it's valuable to hear what problems, challenges, but also successes they've faced with. And this really richens your own viewpoints as well. But as I said in the beginning, our vision goes way beyond just web consent data. We want to give people control over all of their personal data with the same approach. So if you want to help us democratize personal data, then get your phones out right now. I'm serious. Get your phones out. And those who are joining online, also in your browser, once you have your phones out and watching, you type into the browser get.stardust.today. And at home or on your desktop, you can install the free app that has the potential to change who will control your personal data in the future. And with Stardust, that's you. And for those who are still curious, you're welcome to come talk to us after the presentations or connect with us on LinkedIn. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. So the first question I have for you is kind of where did this all begin? How did you come up with this idea? Tell us a little bit more about how you came up with this idea. And when did you know, do you know what, we're going to pursue this one?
Yeah, it started kind of from our diverse background. Like Till is from Germany, I'm from Estonia, and we've had quite different views of the world in Estonia. A lot of like services are integrated and it's like super convenient. In other countries, it's not that convenient. And I think the cookie pop-ups, they were like a very good embodiment of that. That you visit different websites and you enter the same data again and again and again, and it makes you think like, God damn it! Like why do I have to put in the same data over and over again? Like why can't I just like input it once and then forget about it? So it was really this like once only vision that motivated us to work on it.
Brilliant, thank you. And another question here is about, you mentioned how many users you have now and where you started. So what did you find effective? What was your strategy for like gaining users?
I mean, first of all, events like this, talking to all the people at the university, being involved with Future Worlds, with Student Enterprise, the Foundership Scheme. I mean, we've met so many brilliant people who loved our product and then shared it on LinkedIn, on social media. So we never spent a single penny on any marketing or anything. It just kind of like worked itself because we believe it's a great product and other people believe that as well.
Brilliant, thank you. So that was really interesting, guys. Thank you so much. So join me in welcoming the next two up on stage, Polarity Works.
Yeah, just way back there, guys. Just way back there. Oh.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Harry, this is Casper. We're both fourth year electrical and electronic engineering students here at the uni, and our business is Polarity Works. We're an enthusiast-driven company focused on bringing innovative and never-before-seen technologies to the computer keyboard and other computer peripheral market spaces. With our unique set of skills and talents, we can bring technologies that other companies haven't deemed viable and still make a viable product out of it. And we also offer consulting services to do the same thing, bring our technologies to market under other companies' branding as well.
So, at the start of the scheme, we had slow, steady growth, which was mainly limited by our time and financial resources. We had one product on the market, which we sold 300 units of, and we had 2 more in development. After the scheme, at this stage, we've increased our product range to 7 products, with 3 more in the prototyping stages, and we've also started 3 consulting contracts in the keyboard space, totaling £42,000. We were expecting a turnover by the end of this year of over £100,000. This is one of our products. It's the BT60. We've sold 400 units of the version 1 board, which you can see up there, and we're expecting 1,500 orders of the V2, which you can see here. This board is the only one on the market that will allow you to turn your current wired keyboard into a wireless one.
The scheme was hugely impactful for us. Freeing us from some of our sort of financial burdens over the summer allowed us to go full-time on Polarity Works and really focus on it. And as a result, it hugely accelerated our growth. The classes and talks given at the beginning of the course were really helpful as well, especially ones around contracts and marketing, which is a topic we weren't all that experienced in. We know the technology, but when it comes to dealing with suppliers, dealing with retailers, we just didn't know all that much about it. And obviously, in the current wonderful year we live in, the global supply chain is having a funny moment. And a lot of the classes helped us manage dealing with manufacturers in China, shipping all the goods here, and then shipping them out to our retail partners in Germany and America. The Eagle Lab sessions were even more helpful. It's a really good place to work and collaborate with other like-minded individuals. They have a very well-equipped makerspace as well for prototyping some of the stuff that we would normally have to send away for and wait a couple of weeks. And the Eagle Labs day towards the end of the session had a videographer there, which provided us with some really, really high-quality marketing material we just wouldn't have been able to get otherwise, and you can see some of it here. And we'll definitely be putting that to good use later on.
So, to keep up with all the latest product updates from us and any new releases, be sure to follow us on @PolarityWorks on Instagram or scan the QR code. We'll also be around afterwards if you'd like to talk to us about electronic design consulting work. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Yeah, a round of applause, please. Thank you. So lads, what's next for you guys? What's the next product? What are you developing?
So, I mean, we've always got a few sort of ideas on the back burner that we haven't been able to commit to bringing up yet, but one of our most successful products so far has been the rotor, which you can see in those first two pictures there, and it's a fully programmable volume knob designed for content creators, video professionals, or people who just want a really cool fidget toy to sit on their desk and play with every day. We've already sold 300 of these, but we ran out of stock quite quickly, and the general consensus from the customer was that they wanted more of them. So we're going to be iterating on the design, polishing off any rough corners, and then we're going to be running a revision 2 of that very soon.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, guys. So another question is, so I know you've covered this a little bit, but how do your products differ? They're clearly very successful. You've got lots of sales. What do you think it is that's really...
So the thing about our products is they're all fully customizable. You can select what each key does. If you wanted to toggle a macro of different strings of keys, you can do that. They're also all Bluetooth. So they have about a 30-meter range inside of a metal case, and they can connect up to 5 different devices at a time, and you can quickly switch between which device it's connected to.
Thank you so much. So please put your hands together for our next founder, Ryan.
Wait in there, guys, your masks on. Snap one. And there you go. Nice one, thank you.
Hi, I'm Ryan Beale, CEO and co-founder of Sentient Sports. So at Sentient Sports, we use advanced data analytics and AI techniques to help sports teams and organisations to improve their decision-making, both on and off the pitch. So sports data has rocketed in the last 10 years, with data now collected on everything that players do on and off the pitch, from the basic stats you see on Match of the Day to more advanced event data, which looks at where events happen on the pitch, like passes and shots, and who was involved in them and if they're successful or not. And more recently, tracking data as well, which looks at where players are on the pitch 20 times a second across a whole game. The problem with all this data is sports teams haven't yet fully utilised it and don't drive enough value out of it. So at Sentient, we use our AI expertise to be able to help them with this. To date, we've mainly focused on football recruitment, so it's helping teams to simulate whether or not a player is likely to be successful or not. Traditionally, football recruitment has been focused using sort of subjective scouting reports, so we help add a layer of objectivity to this and help them to simulate that. So for example, if Harry Kane is to move from Tottenham to Man City in the January transfer window, we can help simulate whether or not he's likely to fit with the players currently at Man City, if he's going to fit in with the tactics that Man City currently use, and whether or not he's going to score goals effectively, and look at how his transfer value is going to move in the coming seasons. So at the moment, we work with clubs in the Premier League, in the Championship, League One, and as well as top sports agents, and hope to grow this over the coming years. So the founding team was brought together for a passion for AI and sports. So with myself as CEO, our CTO, Dr. Tim Matthews, who holds a PhD here at the university in computer vision and has had experience in leading software development teams in industry, and our chief advisor is Professor Gopal Ramcharan, who is professor at the university and also has experience in commercializing research and commercial applications. Personally, I joined the uni in 2014 to start my undergraduates. I then graduated and went to join a sort of standard graduate job, but decided this really wasn't for me. So I was lucky enough to be able to come back to the university and combine my passions of AI and sports for my PhD. So I've been doing this now for the last 3 years, and that's led to the formation of Sentient Sports. And we've had great support from the university with things like the Future Worlds Founders Cohort and then the Foundership Scheme over the summer. So how's the scheme impacted us? So the scheme has been really useful for us to hire an intern, which has allowed us to spread our workload and allow myself and Tim to focus on the future of the company and the roadmap and where we'd like to go in the future. It's also helped me grow my leadership skills and my management, which should be really important as we start to grow our team in the next few years. We've also benefited a lot from the Eagle Lab sessions, where we were able to generate some marketing content and use that in our presentations like today. Thank you, and happy to answer any questions. Cheers.
Brilliant. Thank you. Round of applause, please, everybody. So, Ryan, I've got a next question for you, which is basically, what is next? Are you going to stay in football, or what's going to happen?
Yeah, so we've got sort of 2 avenues for for where we go next. We can start to expand what we do in football from recruitment into sort of game analysis and as well as fan engagement, looking at the wider industry. And we can also start to look at US sports as well, which is a huge market for this sort of stuff. There's a massive appetite for this.
Brilliant. And another question is, if I've heard that correctly, Jake, is how have you implemented this AI? What's been like the thing that you've learned the most implementing it into the football?
So with AI in general, not just in the sports industry, but trust is a big issue. So people, if they're going to make decisions based on AI, they need to actually trust what they're seeing and learn to improve effectively their own subjective decision making. So we've learned a lot around adding sort of layers of explainability and layers of uncertainty around what they do so it can really sort of make an impact on what they do.
Fantastic. Thank you, Ryan. Please put your hands together again for Ryan and welcome onto the stage, Janu.
Hello. My name is Janu Shan, co-founder and CEO at CareIQ. At CareIQ, we are on a mission to make caring for chronic disease faster, safer, and simpler. Chronic disease management is currently very manual. GPs and GP clinics currently use outdated technology and exported spreadsheets to keep track of their chronic patients. At CareIQ, we aim to make this process 10x more efficient because unfortunately, currently it's too time-intensive, very expensive, and highly error-prone. So I'm going to take you through an imaginary scenario. If you can imagine that you are now a GP. So you've got a waiting room flooded full of patients who are in pain of some sort. You've got telephone line ringing from hospitals trying to get your attention to ask about some other patient who's also in pain. And then you've got a patient in front of you in a consultation, and you've got the admin staff asking about some other issue. Now, in all of this that's going on, you've also got to manage your highly vulnerable chronic patients. So your chronic patients are like your diabetic and cancer patients. You need to make sure that they have their latest blood tests, their urine checks, your foot checks. And it's very hard to keep on track of all of this for one patient. So now let's scale it to a couple thousand. So that's what it looks like for a GP clinic. And to add to that, if you look at the top image, a GP has to go through each of those patients one by one, export it on a spreadsheet, and then look back up on this top system. And you can already see with one screenshot on our system at CareIQ, it's so much easier. At the start of the foundership program, we were running a clinical trial with one GP clinic and one user, covering 3,000 patients of a patient population. Now, we've validated our technology. We've got 100% accuracy and have improved hundreds of lives. We're onboarding more users and are having commercial discussions to scale our product across more clinics. So I joined the foundership cohort shortly after the Future Worlds cohort. And the financial support from the scheme allowed me to quit my full-time job and focus solely on CareIQ. For that, I'm extremely grateful. As an individual, I've tried many different startup ideas, all of which have failed. And the most important thing I can think of is to find something that you're truly passionate about solving. Chronic disease is an incredibly hard and challenging problem. 70% of all global deaths are attributed to chronic disease, half of which are avoidable. And with an aging population, the problem only gets even tougher. We have hope. If you have any connections into healthcare or are interested, I'd love to chat. Thank you.
Thank you, Jano. Stay there just for a question or two. Thank you very much, buddy. So the first question, obviously you're dealing with a lot of data, quite sensitive data. How do you keep that all secure?
This can be a very long answer, but I'll try to make it as short as I can. So you need to have your product clinically proof risk assessed and validated by a clinical professional. And the the term is a clinical safety officer who's part of your organization. On top of that, you have to make sure that you have your data privacy checks in place, your security and encryption. You need to share your architecture with the electronic medical health record company you're integrating with, and like a ton of extra stuff.
Yeah, I can imagine. So currently, what chronic conditions does the platform currently cover?
Yeah, so currently we support the big four, as it's known in the GP world. It's high blood pressure, diabetes, asthma, and COPD, which is another breathing disorder.
Fantastic, thank you. That was really, really good. So put your hands together a couple more times. So to welcome on Marie onto the stage. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Marie Schlenker and I founded Unicycle Skills together with my friend Ed Hawkes. We are both super passionate about unicycling. Between us, we have over 40 years of riding experience and 15 years of unicycle coaching experience. So you probably think of unicycling as a circus art, but it's actually also a really varied sport. It includes disciplines such as unicycle races, unicycle dancing, urban unicycling, unicycle basketball, hockey, as well as mountain unicycling. So it's super fun, but it's difficult to learn and can be daunting at first. And that's where Unicycle Skills comes in. We offer professional unicycle coaching, giving learners confidence and teaching them best techniques right from the start, and hopefully creating a really rewarding and fun experience for our customers. So before we started the foundership scheme, Unicycle Skills was a theoretical idea with a really fancy website, but we hadn't got any courses that customers could actually book onto. So the foundership scheme has actually given us the confidence to officially register the business and start trading. We've created a professional unicycle show that we take to busking spots in the city centre to create interest in our sport and also our courses. And we've also started running our first classes in Lloydsville and Southampton. So the main impact of the foundership scheme for us has really been to make Unicycle Skills real. And for me personally, it has also included going part-time on my PhD to see where we can take the school. Moreover, we've learned a lot about marketing and how important it is to regularly review and adjust your business idea and your strategy. And a personal highlight for me was to go to the Eagle Labs Day, meet the entire cohort, and have the opportunity for exchange with other founders. And at this point, I would like to give a massive thank you to the student enterprise team for making this all possible. Yeah. Here you can see one of our recent shows in the city centre. So it's a combination of different styles of unicycling, formation riding, tricks, jumping over obstacles, jumping over people as well. It's the only dedicated UK show team doing unicycling. And we got world-class riders. We got the current Unicycle World High Jump champion in there as well. And if you're interested in watching one of our shows in the city centre, or maybe try unicycling yourself, you can follow us on social media at Unicycle Skills, or also head to our website, unicycleskills.com. Thank you very much.
Thank you, brilliant. So kind of a two-part question here. It was really, when did you start unicycling? And how long does it really take to kind of master it?
So I started unicycling when I was 8 years old. My neighbor had a unicycle and I just really, really wanted to try it. So for me personally, it took me several weeks because I wasn't really concentrated in the process at that point. I would say it takes a proper 5 to 6 hours of concentrated practice on the unicycle on average. However, that depends on kind of prior experience and really about how dedicated you are into the process. Everyone can learn how to unicycle. It just takes that motivation to actually go for it. Yeah.
Brilliant. And the last question is, have you been working with many students? What kind of age groups are you seeing coming along to your classes?
We've actually seen all sorts of age groups. So we thought that our main target group would be children, teenagers, but I'm also currently running a course in Lloydsville with people that are in their 50s. So it's really something for everyone. And on Sunday, we're running a taster in Lloydsville, actually. So if you're interested and you would like to give it a shot, come and find me after this or send us a message on social media. Happy to talk more about it.
Brilliant. So this leads me to welcome our last founder up on stage, Charlie.
I'm just going to go in there and just mask it. Hi everyone, my name is Charlie and I am the co-founder and medical lead of Sina Medical Technology. Sina's technology enables patients and members of the general public to receive access to world-class musculoskeletal healthcare without the need to visit a doctor or physiotherapist. Our systems are designed to emulate the current healthcare pathways, but to reinvent them in a digital, more accessible and streamlined manner. Research suggests that everyone sitting in this room at some point in their life will suffer a musculoskeletal injury, be that a torn shoulder from playing rugby, a sore back from sitting at a desk too long. Everyone at some point in their life suffers a musculoskeletal injury. So what actually are we? Well, we call ourselves the world's first fully autonomous end-to-end musculoskeletal diagnostic recovery service. That means that from your phone, you can receive a medically accurate musculoskeletal diagnosis. You can then monitor that diagnosis, triage and rehabilitate, as well as receiving severity assessments, all without the laborious process of going to the NHS or paying the expensive private healthcare costs. We're a team of 5 highly specialised co-founders. I myself, the medical lead, am a medical student here at Southampton, and also Pranay, our Chief Technical Officer, and Rob, our Chief Information Officer, are also both students at Southampton. So, where were we before the foundership programme 12 weeks ago? Well, we were finishing our diagnostic algorithm development and beginning to think how we can implement machine learning and AI into this. We were at the early stages of MVP development, and we were also looking for customer outlets, commercialization, and how to fundraise. Fast forward to now, we've completely finished our diagnostic algorithm development, and we can now accurately diagnose 75 musculoskeletal injuries across all of the major body joints. We've also fully developed and launched our MVP, and this is being used by over 20 physiotherapists in Loughborough, Manchester, here in Southampton, and by a few local gyms. So if you attend a few local gyms in Southampton, you may see our services offered to you soon. As you can see from these screenshots as well, we've also been shortlisted as the Great British Entrepreneur Awards Disruptors of the Year. We've presented at Venture Fair South, and also that picture of me smiling was us securing our first in-person client after a lot of online work. So here is an example of some of the sort of pamphlets we offer to our gym clients, which really just outline how you, as a gym member or as a member of a sport club or someone who just wants access to higher quality healthcare, and the benefits to the gyms and to the members. So more personally, how did the scheme impact myself? Well, it really enabled me to work full-time, take a break from my studies over the summer and working to work full-time on Sina. I think what was most important was it validated the business to our clients, to our partners, but most importantly to our team members. It was a wonderful experience to have this validation going forward. And not being from a business or commercial background myself, I learned the importance of concepts such as B2B2C and B2C marketing, which have been really instrumental as we begin this commercialization push. And of course, as my colleagues have mentioned, the Eagle Labs, physical space and in-person client meetings were just brilliant. So, as I said, I'm Charlie, I'm the co-founder of Sina. I would love to talk to more about this, especially to any alumni or anyone within the health tech space. So please do reach out to me through my contact details there, or look us up on the website. And I'll leave you with one call to action. If you currently are suffering from a musculoskeletal injury, go on the website, you can go through the whole app, receive a diagnosis and a £10 Amazon voucher. So it's a win-win. Thank you.
Brilliant, thank you. One last round of applause, everybody. That's absolutely fantastic. So a couple of questions, Charlie. So how did you know when this was really this was going to happen? This could be a possible proper business?
So the friends and I that came together to do this, for a long time, we realized we've actually bitten off more than we can chew. What we're trying to do is reinvent how patients access musculoskeletal healthcare, both in the private and public healthcare domains. And for a long time, this was an idea and something we just enjoyed working on in our spare time. But once we'd fully developed our algorithmic-based diagnosis, we identified 10 patients who we knew had confirmed diagnoses, ran them through the system, and they all came out with exactly the same diagnosis that a clinician, a consultant, an orthopod had given them. And at that point we thought, hold on, we've actually created a remote diagnostic tool that works. So that was a really brilliant moment for us. But of course, there's a long way to go.
Brilliant, really, really interesting. And another question is, what's next for you? How are you going to grow this? What's the big goal?
So I think we're at quite an interesting stage where it's been an R&D project for a long time, and now we're looking to commercialise, so put it into the private healthcare systems, gyms, and the commercial space. Moving forward, starting to tackle the NHS, but also, why stop at musculoskeletal healthcare? Why not think about stroke rehabilitation, mental health, nutrition, and all these other areas of domain, which something my co-founder says, and I'll leave you with, is quite often a lot of healthcare requires the expensive provisioning of pharmaceuticals or big machinery. Musculoskeletal healthcare effectively is just effective communication from you telling me your symptoms and me telling you your treatment. And that's sort of homogenous with so many areas of healthcare. So why not, the sky's the limit. Yeah.
Brilliant. Thank you, Charlie. So can we just have one last round of applause to all of the founders speaking today? It was absolutely fantastic. So just to kind of round up the foundership, and I really urge you, it's like, okay, so you've got an opportunity here. So maybe some of you entered the 100 Big Ideas competition. You're just starting out at university. Well, there is an amazing ecosystem, as I mentioned earlier, around enterprise. There is so much you can get involved in. Lots of funding, workshops, inspirational talks, loads of stuff. So I urge you to really look out for it. We can help you. We can help signpost you across the university. And just really start to take those steps, because next year, it could be you applying for that and being on the foundership in 2022 and being, stood here at the end saying, do you know what? I took my idea, I did something with it, and now I've got a successful business. So just take away that thought. Okay, next up, probably the bit quite a lot of you watching at home, I'm sure, are interested to know. So 100 Big Ideas. It was great to be able to bring this back and be able to promote this around campus and really do a proper campaign in person when we came back this academic year. So the 100 Big Ideas competition, if you don't know, which I'm sure a lot of you do at this point, is all about aspiring kind of creativity, like kind of making you guys be ambitious. Whilst you're here at university, there's so much opportunity, support available. So I just kind of wanted to get across the point that you can actually make this happen. You can make those crazy ideas a reality. So that's what it's all about. It's about to engage as many students as possible. It didn't matter what year you were in, what faculty. It didn't even have to be a business idea. It just had to be an ambitious, big idea. We were lucky to have our sponsor, Northrop Grumman, this year to make this all viable so we could put this competition on. So I really thank you to them. So how is this going to work? In a moment's time, some inspirational music will appear from the back, or it will start playing. Oh, good cue. And we're going to go through, up on screen, the faculty favourites. These are 10 students, 10 ideas that the faculty chose to be put forward to the grand prize, okay? Whilst that is rolling through on screen, we're also going to trigger an email that's going to notify all of the successful 100 ideas that won the £100. So join me in applauding all of these amazing students. Come on, keep it going. Nicole's. Ona. Andrea. Gracie. Joshua. Zena. Hannah. George. Ruhan. And the last one, Edward. So those are the 10 from across the faculty. As you can see, a lot of really wide selection of subject areas, which was really interesting. So, next up. And the winner is. So I'm going to welcome Sarah back on stage to announce the £500 grand prize winner.
So exciting. So indeed, congratulations to the final 10 who got that shout out just now out of all of those 100. The £500 winning prize goes to... Oh, I had a gasp.
Congratulations. We'll come find you afterwards, so just stay in your seat. But that's a really, really amazing achievement. We absolutely love the idea. Sarah will tell you a little bit more.
So yeah, as you can see, a mini projector that shows your real-time location as a map projection onto the ground while you're jogging. So this is very much nighttime, by yourself, trying out new environments in the dark. There's a safety element to this as well as just helping you enjoy and relax when you go out for a run. So really, really fantastic. We're really impressed by the creativity, innovation and viability. So well done. And well done everybody who took the time and trouble to take part and entering the 100 Big Ideas competition. Real success this year. More entries than ever before.
Thank you, Sarah. So the last thing I have to say is kind of a big call to action, really, and that is everyone that kind of entered in the 100 Big Ideas, a next step that you could take, like I was mentioning earlier, there's a lot of stuff going on around university, is this Student Enterprise and Fish and Toast event, which is the Student Startup Challenge. This is going to be running over that weekend, where we're going to have, it's a great opportunity to kind of take your idea, from an idea, learn loads of skills, meet loads of people over the weekend, and take that idea to a point where you can really pitch it. You can go talk to customers, you can go talk to people, and really sell your idea. So you'll learn a lot of skills throughout that weekend. So I really urge you to do it. And there are also a lot of opportunities in terms of funding and workshops. And like I said, all of you who entered that 100 Big Ideas, we had more applications than we've ever had before. So don't be disheartened. We want to work with you, okay? No matter what happened in that competition. So that's pretty much it from us. I thank you so much for coming. I'm going to give Sarah the last opportunity to thank everybody, but I just want to say thank you so much for everyone for coming, everyone from watching online. Thank you so much.
I spoke earlier about the foundership scheme and how it started. I mentioned in that context about the Seed Startup Fund. What I would like to say is that while the foundership scheme applications won't be until semester 2, the Seed Startup Fund is live and open now, and I think you've got until the 1st of December. So if you've got an idea brewing already, maybe you've entered 100 Big Ideas, you want to take it to the next step, speak to the Student Enterprise team, but then also bear in mind there is the Seed Startup Fund, up to £2,500 that you could apply for to really help get some traction with your business ideas. Many of the foundership students you've heard from today have benefited from the Seed Startup Fund, so do speak to them if you'd like to hear more about what difference it made to them. So, yes, as Tom said, a big final thank you from me on behalf of the Careers and Employability Service and the University of Southampton for all of you being here today. It's really fantastic to see so many of you on a Friday evening. It's wonderful for the foundership students to have the opportunity to share their business idea and to present in front of a live human audience rather than just through a screen. I've seen them pitch many times, but it's always through a screen, so it's fantastic to have had this opportunity today to do it live and face-to-face. Thank you to all of you for being here. Thank you to all of you, as Tom said, who've been joining us online. A massive thank you to the foundership students for their commitment and effort throughout the summer on this scheme. You've achieved so much. You should be so proud, and you should be very proud of yourselves for how you performed today. We're certainly very proud of you, and we look forward to seeing what you go on to do next. So very, very well done. And thank you, of course, goes to the Student Enterprise team for all their support they've given to the students over the summer. It's required great ingenuity and creativity for them as well to look at how they can really get a decent foundership scheme operating in the environment that they've needed to over that summer. So thank you for all that you've put into it. To Sean, to Jake and to Tom for all that you've done, and for today as well, for making this event happen. So I think that really is it, isn't it, in terms of thank yous. Thank you, everybody, again. We look forward to seeing you, hearing your ideas, and working with you over the coming years. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Let's just one last round of applause. Come on. Thank you. And that's it. You may all leave. Thanks, everybody.
Have a lovely weekend, everyone.